All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Geoff. Man, I got to tell you, I was chatting with our guest coming up, and she is on fire. You don't want to miss this. So if you work, turn down the volume so you can still hear it, or if you're at home, call your friends and your relatives, have them dial in, go to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can find it there. Look up Comeback King, Geoff Tyson. You do not want to miss this, right? I mean, oh boy. So what we'll be unpacking today, I'm just going to give you a couple of those things, right? Why I'm telling you how to find God's purpose. We're all looking for that answer. What's the purpose? Man. Ooh, and then turning catastrophe pain into generational impact. Right, just to name a couple of things. And just one more thing, and you'll have to read through the description. What is man to live life on? What it's meant to live life on assignment. What it's meant. I messed that whole thing up, so I'm going to say it again clearly. What it's meant to live life on assignment. We're always talking about our purpose. Well, that purpose is your assignment, if you're wondering what that is, right? So anyway, and for who is it for? Anyone rebuilding, right? I'm just making sure anyone questioning their purpose, like I have done on and off this year, like more than ever before. Who am I supposed to be doing this? Who will this serve, right? Raise your hand if anything's speaking out to you. Carrying the silent battles. Who's suffering in silence? Anyone knows what they're made of and what they're made for, right? Not sure. Wondering who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? So anyway, I want you to get ready for this show because I can't wait, but I have to say a couple more things. So hang on, right? First of all, I have to introduce myself. My name is Geoff Tyson, and I am the host of Conversations with Geoff International and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, where we sponsor this show and summits and coaching and speaking and all those things around from heartbreak to healing, pathways to extraordinary love, right? And relationships, business failures, health, right? So all those three pillars are what we're talking about. We're going to touch on those two today as I interview our guest, right? So, and I am affectionately known as the Comeback King, and you'll find out if you don't know why that is, if you hang around, subscribe, and become part of our community. So let me just get a highlight of our next guest. I have it on the phone today, so I'm going to stumble through a lot of it, and we'll probably have to highlight it again. But hey, you want to make sure you don't miss anything, right? So anyway, our next guest, Tiffany Colvin, the author of Your Daily Ticket, God's 31-Day Passport. She's an author, phenomenal author. She's got another book, I think, somewhere in there where Fighting the Good Fight was published nationally by the Maternal and Child Health and Services Administration, particularly folks centered around autism. That's one of her passions. She is a speaker, a writer, I believe a mother. I wasn't certain. I'm going to go out on a limb to say that, a mother. More importantly, she is a woman of God, a soldier in a place where we need soldiers to be. She speaks it, she lives it. And her motto is, go get God. And go stands for every gift, talent, and dream. Go after it, right? Get busy, purposing. Well, I like this. Get busy purposing purpose is what she's trying to tell us, right? And then the last thing is God, have faith in God. So ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let me just stop talking and bring to our stage our next guest, Miss Tiffany Colvin, author, speaker, mother, and powerhouse. What's up, lady?
Oh, hello. It is a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you here, and thank you for being so patient as I stumble through the bio and some of the other things.
We all stumble, but we make it through. So
I never claim perfection where I come from.
That's right.
Go up and do the best you can is all I can talk about.
That's right.
Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking out the time and really, I mean, let's just kind of jump in. And where you want to start? I mean, talk to me.
I just love everything about this platform. letting people know that there is a space and a place for them, letting them know that it's okay to fail. You know, sometimes the world will we always want to show the beautiful picture, the Instagram picture that shows us looking perfectly, like we woke up every day looking perfect, but life is not perfect. And so I just love when people are transparent, because I believe it allows us to set aside our pride. And what does the Bible say? That pride and a haughty spirit goes before the fall. And so just like we talked about tumbling, sometimes we tumble a little bit, but we get ourselves back up. And with the help of God, we're able to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And it is about tumbling, right? And it's not about how many times you tumble. It's always about how many times we get back up from the tumble.
That's right.
You know, and your journey has been filled with some really powerful things that I don't even know about yet.
Yes. So I'll share a little bit of that. A little bit of my testimony is I was going through life, thought everything was great. You know, I had a great career. I was moving up the corporate ladder. Everywhere I had worked, I seemed to have success. But each and every time something happened, one of those falls of life happened. I became ill. My mother, and well, about 10 days after my twins were born. I do have twin sons. You were right on that. So I have twin sons. And 10 days after that, my father passed away of multiple myeloma cancer. Then I was faced with the next struggle of my own healthcare issues, and losing my own mobility and ability to get up every day and care for myself. Went through a long period of time of a lot of doctors and trying to surmise what was going on inside my body. Then with that, on top of that, it was coupled with my sons were being diagnosed with autism. Both of my sons, it was like, oh my God, Lord, please don't put anything else on me. You know? And then on top of that, now here I was, my mother was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. So I was taking care of the children, my mother, all of this was going on at the same time. And it was in this place that I began to, emerge in my relationship with God, and understanding that, hey, Lord, I need you. The faith of my mother that I held on to like a little girl's on their mother's coattail, saying, God, you know, well, I'm going to have faith for her with her faith. No, now I had to have my own level of faith and responsibility and relationship with God to get me through the difficulty that I would face.
And what was that relationship before all this happened? How was the relationship? And you know,
I thought I had a great relationship. I said, you know what, Lord? I mean, I memorized scripture. My mother was a mother of faith. Every Friday we had devotionals, a Bible study. She typed it out. She made sure we knew. I sat in the pews. I knew the word of God. I was being immersed with the word of God. And even as a little girl, I look back now and I say, my favorite verse was, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And that was the memory verse that at the age of 7, I memorized. And it wasn't until into adulthood that I went back and I looked and I said, Lord, I could have chose Jesus wept. I could have chose any of these other verses, but that was the verse that I was going to need to carry me through life. And the verse that I used to encourage others that you have to study to show yourself approved. That means like when we go and get these degrees and we do what the world tells us to do to become successful, we have to have success in our relationship with our Heavenly Father. And I think it's such a good point that you bring up as far as even just relationships. As we learn to have a relationship with Him, that will just spread to every relationship that we have.
Yeah. But you know that people have funny ideas about how that relationship should be, though.
Yes.
You know, I say funny ideas, but I mean, it's mine's simple. Like he and I hang out. That, you know, I mean, that's we right here next to me right now, and people get offended when I say that, you know, like minimizing him. And so, how do you help people with that whole thing around relationship?
Yeah. So how I do it is, one day I was sitting, and my children teach me so much. I thank God, because
Yeah.
even with their challenges, they have taught me so much,
Mm.
and I've learned about communication better. I've
Yeah.
learned about relationship. And I remember there was a book by Gary Chapman that it was all the rise at one point, talking about the love languages. And I
Yeah.
began to look at that and say, what are the love languages of God? He wants quality time. He wants
Mm.
words of affirmation. He wants these things. And what are we doing? How am I cultivating this
Mm.
relationship with God? I was like, I pretty much was the genie in the bottle girl. I was like, okay, Lord, let me rub you. Hey, and I need something. I need this new promotion on my job. I need.
Yeah.
And I started to look at, what if my children treated me like that?
Mm.
As a parent, if every Christmas I bought them every Xbox, every game system, all of these things, and they never said thank you, they never
Wow.
spent any time with me, and so
Right.
that just taught me. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to be that girl.
Yeah.
And so it began in a practical manner. With I couldn't even move. I remember I was my health was so bad, and I remember staring up at the ceiling, and I would just say, Lord,
Mm.
I need help. And I tell people that's the simplest prayer is,
Yeah.
Lord, I need help.
Yeah.
And then just I would take moments, and I would say, you know what, if I can get on social media for 10 minutes as soon as I wake up, can I pick up that phone and begin to spend time with God? And I began to do that. And I
Wow.
began to time myself and say, how much time am I spending with God? Because He wants my quality time.
Yeah. 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 And I wrote down God's love languages, because I believe in the love languages and
Yes.
how we identify with each other. And you're doing that. So you're in pain. So you found something you could do. You start measuring your time
Yes.
and being consistent around that, and simple. God help me. I think that's what what did I write down? Something simple. So what I'm hearing you say is you don't have to be a TJ Jakes,
Yes.
or anyone else like that to
Yes.
be able to make that connection, because that helped me out,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
part of my family line has a big path into ministry and bishophood and all that stuff, and well, we're on the other side of that. But so it was always kind of like, people used to think we were them, and vice versa. And so it's great to be in your own space. So find your own space is what I'm hearing you say, and just start there. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I began to find practical ways.
Mm.
I heard the verse that says, that is the effectual, fervent prayer. And so
Mm.
I was like, am I really supposed to be praying all day, like on my knees, And I remember meeting this guy, and he told me, oh, I dated this girl, and she prayed for 13 hours a day. I was like, well, I am not that girl. but what I learned, it is inviting God into every aspect of our lives.
Mm.
So what I learned that I did was what I call the compartmentalization of God. I would trust Him in certain things, but I wouldn't trust Him with the little things.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that, hey, He cares about the number of hairs on my head. So
Mm.
why am I feeling like, hey, I'm not going to go to Him and ask? They say a closed mouth does not get fed.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
sometimes He just want to hear us open our mouths, because
Mm.
it's just like as our children. We want to know. We might think we know what they need, but we want to hear them say,
Yeah.
Daddy, you said you're my provider. You said you're my source. And so I began to learn how to pray and how to talk back to Him, how to
Mm.
give Him back the words of affirmation that He wanted. So I
Yeah.
could stroke His ego while I was asking my daddy for what I needed.
Yeah. I got you. I love that, and invite him in too. That's something that's
Yes.
been speaking loudly to me lately, and doing that. So I'm always checking to make sure that invitation is verbally asked and put out there, not just thought.
Yes, that's
And
good. That's a
yeah,
good point.
yeah,
That's a very
and,
good point.
and it seems to make a difference.
It does.
It kind of levels me out, and my whole spirit seems more calm. And Lord knows we need it, because today's a crazy world we live in.
Yes.
right? And all the more reason for folks to stand true in their purpose.
Yes.
And I talked about helping find God's purpose. So I think we're talking about the love language, and then being able to pour into us and all the other things, and then turning catastrophe pain into generational impact,
Yes.
which you've kind of done as well. So I mean, when you look back over it, how did that impact your kids? As you guys were going through all that.
So I will say, to share with you, my mother ended up passing away. And at that point, that was a pivotal point for me in my life, that I understood that at that time I was praying and I was like, Lord, my mother is a prayer warrior, she gonna make it through this. And then I remember the Lord saying he was gonna take her. And I was like, but wait, she's a prayer warrior. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right? I'm kind of like on this level. And so it taught me to be confident in my prayers and understanding my communication with God. But what it also awakened in me is that reminder that all that we can leave our children is a legacy of faith. That is the greatest gift we can leave them. You can leave them $1 million, but if they're not grounded. I've seen people squander all of their money. And so it was so important. And I had always made sure that my children knew God. They went to church, and I tried to be the best role model for them. But I wanted to take it to another level. And I was grateful, even in my mother's passing away, my children, they because of their autism, they were like, well, oh, she's gone, she's gone to heaven, so she just went to Walmart. And they were thinking, okay, she's coming back, right?
Coming back, yeah.
It was like, no, she's not. But at that point, they were like, we want to go to heaven too. So I remember during the course of preparing everything, the funeral arrangements, I said, you know what, we're going to stop right here. We're going to make sure you make it to heaven.
Yeah.
And from that, these little dudes decided, wait, we got a niece. And so when she would come on, they said, are you going to go to heaven? And so it was like a domino effect from generation to generation. And then just understanding as a mother that sometimes when you're a stay-at-home mom, you feel like there's no impact. But we have to remember that you are discipling the future.
Yeah.
We are our children's first Sunday school teacher. We're the first ones. So I began to go out and outsource and tell women that, hey, don't diminish the position that you're in.
Yeah.
Because God is going to ask you what you did with what he gave you. And when we think about that, we have to be challenged.
Ooh, and the greatest gift that you could be given is the gift of life from somebody else.
That's right.
And ladies we can claim being part of it, but I mean, you birthed that child, and so it's just hands down, just speaks directly to you and that child. And so, man, I love that. And so now you're doing that with your kids, and your mom passed, and losing moms, man. I've been there. I know how that is. And she sounds like she had an impact over your life and that stuff. So, but where was the anger? You said, why take me? Why not me? Where was the anger? And did you have any, around the choice?
I think at first I was like, well, wait, I think it was more of a confusion. Like, oh, well, she's the poobah of faith.
Poobah prayer person, yeah.
and here I am, this little servant girl, But what it taught me was, number one, to tell people each and every day how you feel about them. And so I make it a point now. It could be a stranger, and I will tell them, you look beautiful today. You did, this is because sometimes the world is so rough and tough that we don't share. We don't express our feelings to our loved ones, to people we meet, to people who impact us. And we might see it as a small thing, but it's huge when they hear it. When they, oh, you did this for me. How you changed my life. And so for me, it caused me to go into this, what I call everyday evangelism, where
Mm,
every day, even if it's just my smile, if
yeah.
it's just telling somebody, you know what, I appreciate my children's teachers. I appreciate that you come to work every day
Yes.
with the challenges that you deal with, and you do it, and I appreciate that, because that's the gift that God gave you to
Yeah.
give input into my child.
That's
You
right.
know? So it's just finding those everyday moments, and it's creating those memories. And I wanted my children to have the muscle memory of
Mm,
us sitting down each day and doing a devotional. I wanted
yeah.
to have the muscle memory of, okay, let's bake some cookies, because I want those memories
Yeah.
that we had in our generation.
That's right.
I
That's right.
want that for the next generation and the next generation to continue in that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And when you talk about muscle memory, that's so important spiritually, emotionally, physically, right? Our body holds everything that goes on. And the more we can stack valuable memories and times of joy and times of love and all that stuff, I love that. You know, my wife and I have this thing. She put a note on the door, and it said, praise and compliment everybody you meet.
That's right.
And that note stayed on that door for like 8 years. I mean, in and out, we were in and out, and never fell off. It was a Post-it note, right? I mean, and I was, when she put it on there, I said, okay. And we're always about self-development and all these things. And so it speaks to what you're talking about, smile.
Yes.
You know, now we've elevated it to being epic, and that's encouraging, praising, inspiring, and complimenting everybody we meet, right? Because the smile goes a million miles, right? I mean, and your smile lights up the world. So I can see you just touching lives through all of that stuff. So I really appreciate that. So now you moving through this, and when did you start? I know you said something about as a child, art and writing, but when did you decide, let me just start to put some of this thought into a book, right? Because I want to make sure we talk about that.
Yeah, so it was kind of a crazy thing. And I remember all throughout my life, people were like, you just really, I always was a wise, even as a child. I'm like 10 years old, but I was pretty wise beyond my years.
Gotcha.
So I began, because I couldn't leave the home because of my illness and everything that I had going on. And I was like, Lord, I mean, you said, I'm like, look, if you want to use me, you use me whatever way you use me, but how am I going to be used? Because I can't go anywhere. And so, and I couldn't be around people because I had an autoimmune issue and everything. And so it started with, I began teaching a virtual Bible study. I would get on occasion, I would get to speak there. And through my everyday, just spending that time with God, I would sit longer and longer and longer, and I would begin to type out everything that I would get downloaded from God as far as the messages. And so I began to keep those, and I was like, well, Lord, why am I doing this? This is kind of silly. And so I would share it, and then God began to open up doors. He began to open up doors for me to be able to share with women my thoughts, and younger women, and the mistakes that I made. And I was like, Lord, you know what? I want to be transparent. I don't want to be one of those people that hide and tuck and let me put this under the rug. No, this is what I did, because the pain that we often go through, it births that purpose. And it also allows us to share with other people so that they can understand that they too can make it through what you have gone through. And if we hide it to ourselves, we keep it to ourselves, they'll never get that opportunity. So I began to say, Lord, use me whatever way you can. And it was funny, because I always say the Lord talks to me in threes. He will confirm something, in threes. And maybe he will, I'll be sitting watching TV and he'll say something, or somebody will come up to me and say something. But someone I did not know, they were like, well, why aren't you writing books? And I was like, well, I guess I could. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm not doing anything. And so I began to compile this devotional. I had started a children's book. I had started a poetry book, and he was like, no. And I was like, wait, Lord, these are almost done. So I said, I think you got something a little crossed here. But it was the best thing I could have done. And I believe it was a lesson in obedience. Because although the others may have been more lucrative, that's not what my goal is. It is to change lives and to let other people into my life and understand that all of the adversity that we go through has purpose. There is purpose in your pain.
Yeah. And then I believe, just to add to that, is that we have a responsibility to share that. Not in a way of selfish greed or anything like that, but to know that we all have an assignment. This is what I believe, that there's a certain amount of people that he's put on this earth for us to serve. And when we don't do that, we steal from them. Right.
That's right.
That's right. And that's the pride piece of it. So you're doing that. So you're talking about the powerful things, and I'm just making sure that we're hitting some of the highlights, and you just kind of just discussing through all of them, as we talk about that. So what's going on? We talked before the show about, what was something we were going to talk about before the show started that I kind of stopped you on? Because I'd like to kind of get back to that. And I should have wrote it down, but we talked about some of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking about, what's that one thing that you felt God pricking at you to do, and you're like, no, that's not me. And so for me, it was, I always felt this sense, even as a little girl, I was like, I want to be a nun. And I remember watching, Sister Act and going, oh, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
And for me, it was ministry. But I was like, but I don't want to be up on nobody's stage, and I'm not this. And I just believed in having some integrity and character about myself, and has seen some people fall or whatever. And nothing's wrong with that. But the thing is that I began to understand that it is sometimes God doesn't hand us things in the packages that we expect them to come in.
Yeah.
But they are still gifts.
Yeah.
They are still things. We shouldn't diminish them and say, oh, that's a Dollar General gift, or that's a Dollar Tree gift, or that's a Macy's gift, or that's a Nordstrom gift. They're all gifts. And so I began to collect up all of my gifts and look at them, and as if it was a Christmas time, and that old rugged cross was the tree, and as he sacrificed for me, all these gifts that he had given me, was I giving him back to him? I wasn't. And so I began to say, you know what? I'm going to take these gifts, even if it's just my smile. And I began to use that gift every day. I'm going to smile. If I was going to the doctor's office, I was going to smile. It didn't matter. If I was in a wheelchair, I was going to smile. Whatever I was in, whatever situation I was in, I was going to smile. And so then I began to take the writing, and then I began to take, okay, I like talking to people. I love people. So how can I utilize this? And so we just have to do that. And I encourage everyone I meet, figure out what your purpose is, because we have a beginning date, we have an end date. What we do with the dash is so important.
Ooh-wee. I have this theme about the life between the dash, or the dash between the years. And George is saying the blessing is in the sharing of my testimony. What's up, George? We agree, Brandon. And you're doing a great job sharing and stuff. So the dash. So what's in store for your dash?
So in store for my dash is, I believe in, it's what I call everyday evangelism. And what that is, it is sharing a smile. It is changing people's life. Even though you may feel like, well, I can't write $1 million check. It is investing in people. Because, we've all been in a bad spot, and we've all gone through things. But I just believe that God allows us to be on this earth to share our testimony so that someone else can make it through the tragedies, the adversities that they are going through. And so I just do that in the most practical means. If it is going to a dollar store and paying for the person behind me, just so that I can say that Jesus loves you and he cares about you. Somebody cares about you. And you'll be surprised how many people have never received those types of gifts in their life. We are a gift. We are a blessing to be a gift to someone else and to change their life through, our speech, through our kindness, our care. And I just believe that God gives us a manifold blessing
Yeah.
because
I love that. So that manifold, you can pick and choose, just multiple options and everything like that. So, I mean, obviously you that gregarious person. But what can you, as we start to wind down, that person that really is like, oh man, nobody wants to hear me. I don't have anything to say. I'm an introvert. We excuse ourselves behind the word introvert,
yeah.
which I claim that word too. But so what can you say about that person that has it?
I had to look at it like this. Would I rather be embarrassed in front of people or embarrassed in front of God?
Mm-hmm.
When I thought of it that way, I said, you know what? These people, they're going to pass away. But
Yeah,
eternity to stand in front of him and him to say, what did you do with what I gave you?
yeah.
What did you do with the smile? What did you do with your musical ability? If you can bake a pound cake, bake that pound cake and
Make it, baby.
use that and share that with someone. Go
Yeah.
take it to a nursing home, take it to a hospice care center, take it somewhere so
Mhm.
that there is impact. That person will never forget what you did.
Yeah.
And it's so important. And understand that my motto is go get God.
Go
Go
get
after everything that God has given you. I told God, I said, I want to expel every gift that you have given me.
it. Wow.
Every gift. And so I had to begin to figure out what are these gifts, and not diminish them. If it's being at home, being a mother, if it's being a good wife, be that gift to your
Yeah.
husband. Be
Yeah.
that gift. That is a ministry. And we think ministry is the pulpit. No, it is every day. Is that
Yeah.
everyday evangelism, that everyday encouragement to others. So be bold. You
Yeah.
have to be bold. I say, big God, we serve a big God. We have to have big faith, and we have to dream big. So
Yeah.
dream big, don't diminish it. So go after God, go get God, and know that God is there. He's going to help you. If it's a small dream, then you could do that on your own. But if it's a big thing, God, you're going to need God.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go after it and do it. Do it, do it, do it. Just do it.
And do it now, and I always tell people your comeback is right now. So focus on the next step and moving forward and getting busy and staying active. I love your motto, and you live that. And so, I mean, I think people can really see that. I know they can see that, and your experiences. Lynn, you said something else. I want to make sure I got this right. You said something about you want to live the word, not just talk about it.
Oh,
You remember saying that?
absolutely. Absolutely. We should be walking testimonies.
Mhm.
And I look at even all of the negatives and the tragedies that have happened in my life. And yet and still, I know that there are people that looked at my life and saw as I went through it and how I am still going through those things. And they look and they say, how did you make it through
Mhm.
it? And I can say it is because of my faith in God
Yeah.
and that which was imparted into me through the generations before that I am now imparting to the next generation.
Yeah. No, I love that. So as I'm looking at the clock, man, I'm already 3 or 4 minutes past the time that I was supposed to keep you. So tell me as we wind down, first of all, how do people get a hold of you? Right?
They can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all the platforms. My book is available on Amazon. It is Your Daily Ticket. My last name is you can just type in my name, Tiffany Colvin, Colvin. They can contact me if they want to set up a call or want to talk or anything like that. I
Yeah.
am more than open. And I talk to people all over the United States. Again, I'm an autism advocate. So I always want to encourage people that no matter what they're going through, go get God and know that God can do the impossible.
Yeah, I love that. And you help a lot of people, but don't you have a message kind of designed around women also?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I just I have been a single mom. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And so for me, it is encouraging women to understand that no matter what you have gone through, there is still opportunity and purpose in your life. And whether you're the single mom, whether you're the at-home mom, whether you are the executive, understand that there is purpose in your pain, that you can make it. And I just encourage you, if you have the opportunity, look at the book. The book has everything. It has everything, every situation, whether it's choosing a spouse, whether it's dealing with loss. It has something for everyone.
Yeah.
So again, please feel free to get in contact with me, and I would love to share my testimony.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I would certainly encourage everybody to do that. So I'd like to have you kind of, in a few sentences, kind of wrap up what you shared today and how you want to leave us.
So if I could say anything to the audience, I would say the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. If you don't move, if you don't do anything, he's already got you. So you've got to get up. You have to have actionable faith. In other words, you can't just sit on your duff and do nothing. You have to get up. You have to move. Even if your mobility is gone, you can move your mind. He cannot take that. The mind is the battlefield. So first of all, renew your mind daily by studying the Word of God, and know that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Wow. Yeah. I follow both of those messages on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So I love how you just tie that all together, and encouraging the single mom or stay-at-home mom or whatever it might be, that there is hope out there. And the book sounds like it's got a lot of great things. Yeah. So, my friend, I want to say thank you for lighting up the day, right, with a big, beautiful smile and a powerful message. Yeah. And we certainly hope to have you back again.
Yes, and I thank you. I thank you for the impact that you are having on lives. And sometimes we worry about numbers or things like that, but when we are doing what God has position for us to do, we are doing a great thing. And I commend you, because there's so many people out here that feel like when they fall down, they can't get back up. But we serve a God that can do an amazing thing in our lives. And I say he takes the good with the bad, he weaves it all together and creates the tapestry of our life that the world gets to see for generations after generations after generations. And so I thank you for the opportunity to share. And I thank you and I encourage you for what you are doing to change people's lives.
Well received, and blessings to you. And thank you so much for your kind words. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
So as I said at the beginning, and man, listen, I know most of you are going to hear the recording, so make sure you reach out to her and find the book. If you can't find that, reach out to me and I'll do that. And so those of you parents struggling with or dealing with autism and some of those other things, man, she's got a wealth of experience in that space, in addition to everything else that she shared. So she said a lot of things like, ooh, boy, legacy and faith, right, is one of the circles. What did I do when you gave me? What did I do with what you gave me? Right? I mean, so when you're thinking about and you're complaining, stop, think about what she said. We've all been given something. We've either ignored it, or we're running away from it, or we're stumbling through it, and we're doing that. Remember, he gave that to you for a reason. And we want to encourage you. She wants to encourage you to stand in that space, be brave and be courageous, right? And the comeback starts right now. So I would encourage everybody to make sure you replay this message several times. She dropped a lot of powerful nuggets in there. I know I'm going to go back through and listen to it myself. And lastly, this is a holiday season. Think about folks that you know that could use a message that she has and gift them her information, right? That's why she's here. She's stepped into her space, and we need to support her. And I know you guys will. So anyhow, I want to thank everybody for this message and stay tuned for the next upcoming conversations with Geoff. And as always, we invite those that are looking for a community, someplace safe, someplace that's going to challenge you, someplace that's focused on helping you through the comeback in our community. We welcome you to reach out to us and make sure we get you connected there, from heartbreak to healing. And lastly, as I always say, when you look in the mirror, make sure you're smiling at that person that may be frowning back at you, right? And if they're frowning back at you, you keep looking at them until you smile. Do those things necessary to step into who you're meant to be. All right. Hey, come back, King out for now. Have a great day. Enjoy this last month of December. We'll talk to you again soon. And thank our guests again. Show us some love. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.